The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
So joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Bitwise Asset Management Chief Investment Officer, Matt Hougan. Welcome back, Matt.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Glad to see you again. So FTX's collapse, of course, had an effect on the market, but now we're sort of stabilizing. But you think it's actually a good thing?
Let's be clear. I think it's a good thing long-term. In the short term, of course, it's a headwind. It introduces fear, uncertainty, and doubt. People are waiting to see what the next shoe to drop will be. Regulators are circulating and having hearings. So for the next 3 to 6 months, I think it's going to be a headwind for us. But as we move beyond that into the next year, into the next 2 years, I do think it's a positive catalyst because it's going to bring regulatory clarity. And regulatory clarity is one of the key ingredients to unlock the next major bull market in crypto.
Nonetheless, I mean, you know, we just had Kathleen Brightman on talking about some of the stuff happening and some of the effects that could happen here, and the shakeout, and she called it an extinction event even. If it is an extinction event and not just even crypto ice age,
right,
that could mean a lot of things going wrong for a long time. And so, whatever levels we are at now might actually be relatively rich for where we could be headed. Do you think that the worst is still to come?
I think we're entering the period of indifference. You know, if you look back at other previous bear markets, they go through this classic style of people not believing it's happening, people being angered, then a period of capitulation and the worst, and crypto is dead, and those headlines resurface. And then you have a period of indifference. And that's what we're getting towards. We're still a little bit in the capitulation phase. So I think there are probably still a few more bad headlines after that, but we're near the end of that. I don't think it's a crypto KT style extinction event. As your last guest mentioned, I think it may be for some alternative layer ones. I think they face real challenges. But if you look at what's happening in Ethereum, if you look at what's happening in the developer community, if you look at the growth of layer 2 networks, I think there's more to be excited about than there is to be worried about. But we're going to have to go through a period of 6 months where no one outside of the crypto industry cares about crypto. And that's sort of what leads into the next bull market. That's happened each time in the past. I see no reason to believe that this time will be different. I think we're following that same pattern to the T.
Yeah, we take a look at the charts today. It looks like Ethereum is bucking the trend compared to the rest of the markets, which are down. And you say the price action in Ethereum doesn't match the fundamentals right now. Explain what you mean.
Yeah, I think there are two things about that. For one, the merge was such a historic event, right? A massive reduction in carbon consumption, massive increases in efficiency. We've reduced the inflation rate from 4% a year down to 0. It's the equivalent of 2 or 3 or 4 halvings happening all at once. And the price has trended sideways. I think in a neutral market environment with neutral macro conditions and neutral sort of crypto industry conditions, Ethereum's price possibly would have doubled. But it's been suppressed by all this bad news. And that's building up sort of a coiled spring effect. The other thing I would add is that crypto is, or Ethereum rather, is seizing on this opportunity to increase its lead over other layer 1 solutions. If you think back a year ago, the big challenge was Ethereum's technology wasn't fast enough. It couldn't scale enough, but it had this huge network effect that made it somewhat insulated from its competitors. And its competitors had better technology. But over the last 6 months, we've seen Ethereum sort of solving that throughput challenge with the growth of layer 2 solutions, increasing its distance from its further competitors and sort of consolidating its leadership position. I think it's an incredible positioning for Ethereum going into 2023. I suspect it's going to be the asset of the year next year, and we're going to see some incredible activity there.
All right. Another elephant in the room is that Grayscale Investments, they're exploring options to return a portion of capital of its flagship Grayscale Bitcoin product if the SEC refuses to approve its spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, Grayscale is owned by the Digital Currency Group and is a sister company of CoinDesk. We just want to disclose that to our viewers. But what do you see in terms of possible headwind from Grayscale?
Yeah, I think what we see in the market is Grayscale, which has some complicated ownership of its trusts, trying to do right by investors. They're trying to do right by investors by converting GBTC into an ETF. And they're now out with this letter saying that if that doesn't work, we're going to explore other alternatives. Now, the pathway to explore those alternatives for private placements that have publicly traded shares is complex, but Grayscale has some of the best lawyers on earth. I'm confident that they will do their best to do well by investors. I think the thing people are worried about, say GBTC unraveling in a spectacular fashion and all that Bitcoin coming into the market, that's classic FUD. I don't see a way for that to happen. I do suspect that Grayscale will put all the best efforts that it can, all the best people that it can onto solving this problem. And, I commend them for tackling it, but it's not an easy process legally or with shareholders to get to where they want to go.